Hey guys, welcome back to The Bright Side. Macy here, The Bright Side Girl, and today we're going to be doing my most anticipated releases for 2025, part 2. We're doing these quarterly. I will link my most anticipated releases part 1 up in the cards for you guys in case you want to check it out. This is going to be everything coming out April through June. I just keep finding more and more things that I'm excited about. I used to only share things that I felt like I would for sure read the year that they came out, but I feel like you guys need to know about these in case you want to pick them up because there are just so many interesting books coming out. I'm not going to go too deep into the synopsis of these because I have a ton to get through, but I'll try to give you like the gist of them and when they come out. So we are going to start off with April. We have The Thorns by Dawn Katurgic. In this hauntingly twisted tale, an author reconnects with an old boarding school friend, forcing her to reckon with her shared past and the imaginary creature they left behind. Dawn Katurgic is a spooky queen. I think this is an adult standalone. I have read 2 of her YA horror standalones. While her books are very dark and talk about subject matter that I normally don't like trauma and grief, her writing is so good and so spooky that I just can't stop reading her books. And usually her books have some kind of mixed media, at least the YA ones do, where like the font will be different, or if it's an audio, you'll get like different kind of sounds or tones at certain parts. They're extremely spooky and dark, but for some reason I just keep wanting to pick hers up, so just keep that in mind. Next we have Gifted and Talented by Olivia Blake. I still have not read one of Olivia's books yet, but I wanted to put this on here. This is the story of 3 siblings who, upon the death of their father, are forced to reckon with their long festering rivalries, dangerous abilities, and the crushing weight of all of their unrealized adolescent potential. I think we have a little bit of a superhero element in here. I want to say this one leans more sci-fi. I'm not entirely sure like what year it's set in, but it just caught my eye. The Potting Shed Murder by Paula Sutton. This is the first in a new like cozy mystery murder series. The Hill House Vintage Murder Mystery Series. Welcome to the sleeping village of Pudding Corner, a quintessentially English haven of golden cornfield, winding cobbled lanes, and murder. So I know there is like a lot of gardening in here and a lot of murder in here, and it's supposed to be like kind of cozy and cute, I think. I'm actually going to try and get to this one for my flower themed readathon if I can, but it sounds really fun. The Gods, Time for God by Kelsey Sheridan Gonzalez. Irish mythology collides with the Gilded Age. This is a debut enemies to lovers historical romantasy, perfect for fans of Outlander and A Fate Inked in Blood. I think this is an adult standalone. I'm not entirely sure. You've got some kind of time element, possibly time travel, and a little steampunkness as well, so it sounds great. We have Don't Sleep with the Dead. So this is actually a companion novel to The Chosen and the Beautiful, which is her reimagining of The Great Gatsby. So I need to read that one first because I always like to read the first book even if it's a companion novel, just because it usually hints at things in the first one. And I don't think I've ever read A Great Gatsby retelling, so that sounds awesome. Next we have House of Blight, The Threadmender Chronicles Book 1 by Maxim M. Martineau. This is the first novel in an eerie, darkly creative and romantic new gothic fantasy duology. We're following Adira, and she is a threadmender. She holds a rare life-saving power that can cure diseases and heal injuries in the blink of an eye. But magic comes with a cost, and saving anyone sacrifices a sliver of her own life. Sounds very cool. Alright, coming out on April 15th, Watch Me by Tahara Mafi. I am a Shatter Me girly. I have been obsessed for so long now. They're very old school and silly, but I love it. I love the romance. I love the adventure. It is such a good like dystopian, slightly sci-fi series, but honestly the friendships and the romance and the characters are the center of these books, and Tahara Mafi writes those so incredibly well. This is book 1 in the New Republic. So I think we're set in the future, possibly following different characters. I'm not sure. I haven't read the synopsis. I'm seriously debating reading all 6 Shatter Me books because I love them so much. One of my favorite power couples is in this series. It's just such a fun series that you can just breeze right through and have the best time with. Next we have Voice of the Ocean. Honestly, I put this one on here because it looks like it might have mermaids in it. Yes, this one follows a daring young siren who defies her people to save a human prince, unearthing ancient magic and igniting a dangerous romance amidst treacherous waters. Again, I think this is YA, but I'm not sure, but you know I'll be adding all of the mermaid books to all of my lists. Down in the Sea of Angels Angels by Can Wong. An intense and thoughtful time-traveling dystopian fantasy, 3 individuals physically linked through time fight enslavement, exploitation, and an environmental collapse. So our main character has the ability to know the history of objects by touching them. There was like this big bloom that was kind of an apocalyptic event that happens. There's time travel. The cover's really cool and it sounds amazing. We have The Floating World by Axie O. Sunho lives in the underworld, a land of perpetual darkness. An ex-soldier, he can remember little of his life before 2 years ago when he woke up alone with only his name and his sword. Now he does odd jobs to scrape by until he comes across the score of a lifetime. A chest of coins for any mercenary who can hunt down a girl who wields silver into light. I love this cover. It just seems like such a really unique fantasy world as well. I think this one is YA. The Amalfi Curse by Sarah Penner. I believe this one is an adult standalone. Powerful witchcraft, a hunt for sunken treasure, forbidden love on the high seas, and beware of the Amalfi Curse. Haven Ambrose is a trailblazing nautical archaeologist and has come to the sun-soaked village of Positano to investigate the mysterious shipwrecks along the Amalfi coast. But Haven is hoping to find more than old artifacts beneath the azure waters. She is secretly on a quest to locate a trove of priceless gemstones her late father spotted on his final dive. Upon Haven's arrival, strange maelstroms and misfortunes start plaguing the town. Is this nature or something sinister at work? Absolutely incredible. I'm really stoked for this one. I'm definitely reading this one this summer. Possibly for Mermaid Marathon because it's got those island vibes and like treasure hunting as well. So sounds great. All right, next up we are going to May. I'm sorry if you guys can hear the plane noise in the background. Not sure what's going on, but it's there. Rogue Secreto by Victoria McCombs. I really want to read Victoria's first fantasy series. I haven't done it yet. This is a fast-paced standalone in a Roman Empire world filled with danger, catacombs, and secret identities along with a forbidden romance. I think this is YA, but I'm not entirely sure. I believe her books usually have a no spice romance as well. Because of that, I'm not entirely sure. And our main character has the ability to steal secrets. So sounds very cool. A Letter from the Lonesome Shore by Sylvie Cathrall. Book 2 in the Sunken Archives, which is A Letter from the Luminous Deep, which is all set in the ocean and there's like letters that go back and forth. I don't really know a lot about it, but it looks perfect for Mermaid Marathon. So I wanted to throw the sequel on here because I think some of us might be interested in reading both. Overgrowth by Mira Grant. This is just a story. It can't hurt you anymore. Since she was 3 years old, Anastasia Miller has been telling anyone who would listen that she is an alien disguised as a human being and that the armada that left her on Earth is coming for her. Since she was 3 years old, no one has been willing to listen. I love Mira Grant so much. I believe this is adult. Mira Grant's also known as Shauna McGuire and I think she writes YA under that name, but her writing is always absolutely incredible. Her sci-fi is really top notch and this one sounds right up my alley. We have Snow Globe 2 by Soyoung Park. This is the sequel to Snow Globe, which came out last year. It's translated, so this is the first time that we're getting it in the US. It's a dystopian book set in this world that has perpetual winter. They have this dome that's like the snow globe where people perform this show to keep everyone's like spirits up because it's a horrible life in this like frozen wasteland of a world. This show is kind of like a soap opera reality show. If you are in this like dome, you get to live a good life. And our main character works in this factory kind of maintaining power and stuff for the city and she wants to go and be on the show. So that's kind of like a loose synopsis, but it is really good, like top notch, really good, unique writing, perfect winter vibes as well, but I'll definitely be reading this one sometime soon. The Glass Garden by Jessica LeVay. So Dr. Therese Blake is a homebody archaeologist devoted to the history of planet Earth. But when her sister Lizzie makes a stunning discovery near an abandoned colony on a distant exoplanet, the sisters team up to discover their secret. We have gardens on a different planet. It's right up my alley. Sounds epic. Love Canter Action by Katie Gilbert. This is a swoony enemies to lovers romance full of giggles, snark, and heart. So our main character kind of wants out of her current home life. She lands a job at a prestigious equine training program in Montana, wrangling horses on a movie set to cover the cost. So I love things that have like movies or TV shows involved. It looks like it's going to be contemporary romance. I think this one is adult, but I'm not entirely sure. Out of Air by Rachel Reese. I just recently found out about this one. So excited. We're following Phoebe Reyes and she is never more at home than when she's underwater. On a dive 6 months ago, she and her 4 closest friends discovered a handful of ancient gold coins, rocketing them into social media fame. Now, their final summer together after high school, they're taking one last trip to the distant Australian island to do what they love most, scuba dive. While diving a local reef, Phibbs discovers a spectacular underwater sea cave rumored discovered to be a lost cave with buried treasure. Treasure hunting and an island and just all of the summer vibes. So again, one that I would consider for Mermaid Marathon or maybe Hike-a-thon or just summer in general. Sounds so good. I think this is YA, but I'm not sure. Night and the Moth by Rachel Geelig. So she is the author of One Dark Window. I think this one is an adult romantasy. I actually have this one on pre-order because I got it on a Barnes & Noble sale. A gothic mist-cloaked tale of a prophetess who is forced beyond the safety of her cloister on an impossible quest to defeat the gods with one knight whose future is beyond her sight. It's from Rachel, so I'm gonna read it. All right, Wandering Wild by Lynette Noni. This one comes out on May 20th. She hates him and he needs her. Can they survive when all they have is each other? Xander Rune was the darling of Hollywood until he fell from glory and was labeled a problematic bad boy. His public image needs fixing fast or he'll lose the role of a lifetime and all of his dreams with it. Charlie Hart is a regular teenage girl who despises everything Xander represents, but thanks to her scheming best friend and an ill-timed social media competition, Charlie finds herself pretending to be Xander's biggest fan on a 4-day reality TV adventure led by renowned survivalist Ryan Hawk. I mean, we've got a reality TV, we've got a competition, we're gonna be like hiking and out in nature, so I'm gonna try to read this one for Hike-a-thon because it sounds amazing. All right, lastly, June. We have Of Monsters and Mainframes by Barbara Truelove. Spaceships aren't programmed to seek revenge, but for Dracula, Demeter will make an exception. Demeter just wants to do her shuttling humans between Earth and Alpha Centaur. Unfortunately, the passengers keep dying, and not from equipment failure, as her AI medical system steward would have her believe. These are paranormal murders, and they began when one nasty ancient vampire decided to board the Demeter and kill all of her humans. What? I love a good silly book like this. Vampires in space. I mean, it sounds amazing. Ladies' Night by Amy Kaufman and Megan Spooner. This is a new one from one of our favorite YA writing duos. An undeniably fierce and unforgettably funny, unapologetically queer feminist romp through the England of medieval legend. Go along on an epic quest for valor, freedom, and above all, love. This is A Knight's Tale meets the Lady Jane series with a dash of the great. So I don't know if this one's a retelling. I think that it might be like a loose King Arthur retelling. They kind of like to blend in different myths. It just sounds like a really fun time. The Devil's Ambition by Lindsay Miller. This is a standalone fantasy about the lengths we all go to get ahead. There's only one school worth graduating from, and it creates as many magicians as it does graves. So this is like dark academia magician vibes. Lindsay Miller is really good at like those gothic elements as well. The Beautiful Maddening by Shay Earnshaw. You guys, I actually requested an e-arc of this on NetGalley because it has to do with tulips and flowers, and I really wanted to read it for Randomathon Flowers, which we are currently doing right now. So hopefully by the time you watch this video, I have already completed this. Following 17-year-old Lark Good, she wants to escape her small town of Cutwater and the history of her family name. It's a history of what began during the Dutch tulip mania of 1636, when Lark's ancestors stole the last remaining tulip bulbs and fled to America. But when the tulips bloomed on American soil, madness sprouted from their snowy white petals, and the madness was love. Now, generations later, Goods remain cursed, the unnatural flowers outside their home causing locals to fall helplessly in love with anyone carrying good blood in their veins. I mean, incredible. I love Shay Earnshaw so much, so really pumped. Meet Me at the Crossroads by Megan Giddings. On an ordinary summer, the world is changed by the appearance of 7 mysterious doors that seemingly lead to another world. People are of course mesmerized and intrigued. A new dimension filled with beauty and resources beckons them to step into an adventure. But perhaps inevitably, people soon learn what looks like paradise may very well be filled with danger. I love parallel worlds and timelines, and this just sounds really incredible. Bury Our Bones in the Midnight Soil by Victoria Schwab. A new adult book from Victoria. I've read almost all of her books now. I officially love her. I'm very obsessed with the synopsis of this. So we are in Santo Domingo de la Calzada in 1532, London in 1837, and Boston in 2019. 3 young women, their bodies planted in the same soil, their stories start tangling like roots. One grows high, one grows deep, and one grows wild, but all of them grow teeth. It's all we get, and I'm here for it. A Girl Walks in the Forest by Madeline Rue, another favorite author of mine. I love her House of Fury series. This is a mashup of a horror fairy tale. A girl must embark on a harrowing journey through a deadly forest filled with otherworldly creatures, supernatural forces, and one maniacal villain who will stop at nothing to bring her down. The Poppy Fields by Nikki Ehrlich. This is an adult standalone. I actually requested this one on NetGalley as well because it also has kind of a flowery vibe, and they had the audiobook available, so I'll be reading this one very soon. What if there were a cure for the brokenhearted? Welcome to the poppy fields, where there's hope for even the most battered hearts to heal. Here in the remote stretch of California desert lies an experimental and controversial treatment center that allows those suffering from the heartache of loss to sleep through their pain and keep on sleeping. After patients awake from their prolonged state of slumber, they will finally be healed, but only if they're willing to accept the potentially shadowy side effects. Sci-fi element in here, I like the desert setting. Sounds like it's going to be very cool. Embrace the Serpent by Sonia Mara. So I really want to read her other debut duology as well, but this one, this cover was calling to me. This is a sweeping romantic fantasy where a dangerous deal binds a young jeweler's apprentice to the mysterious Serpent King in a marriage of convenience, thrusting her into a deadly game between the cunning fearsome ruler and his rebellious huntsman. Sounds absolutely amazing. The cover is perfection. The Ex-Girlfriend Murder Club by Gloria Chow. We have a laugh out loud murder mystery where three women dating the same man band together to get revenge, but when they discover his body, they'll need to solve his murder before they go down for it. This one just looks like a really fun read. And lastly, we have A Treachery of Swans by A.B. Poranek. This is a sapphic retelling of Swan Lake, and you know I love all of the retellings. Magic has long been outlawed, and Odile has always known she'd be the one to restore it. Raised by a sorcerer, Odile has spent years preparing for the heist of a lifetime. It's perfectly simple, impersonating a princess, infiltrating the palace, steal the king's enchanted crown, and restore magic to the kingdom. Magical retelling, right up my alley. Okay, I know this was a really long video, but hopefully you guys got some awesome new books that you'd never heard about before. Let me know which ones you are most excited about to read, or if you plan on reading any of them this year. Don't forget to check out that first video because there's a ton of good ones over there. There's going to be even more in the third and fourth installment. Just hold your horses, we've got a lot to come. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram at @thebrightside_girl, as I post a lot of bookish content on there. Hit subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you guys next time on The Bright Side.